Well, good morning. I'm Bill Riddell from BioAg, and I'm here today with Josh to talk about cannabis production in my backyard last year. So, Josh, you had some research you wanted to do on some clones that you.
Yeah, we wanted to try out some of our new silica spray, and we wanted to see how it affected the plants, along with combining it with seaweed. In the comparison between a couple different rates of just silica compared to silica combined with seaweed and control.
Right, and these were foliar treatments.
Yes.
And I happen to be the one guy without a dog and no kids, so my backyard was the choice. I've never done cannabis before. And so Josh walked me through that, and we got through a full season to the end.
Yep.
But Josh, when we got started, so we had 8 clones.
We started with 8 cuttings, yes, sir.
And they started, and we did in a loaded soil.
Yeah, it was a highly amended soil. The brand name was Organic Matters.
Okay. And we started in were they a 5-gallon pot?
They came to us in a 4-inch pot, and we transplanted those into the number 5s when we first got them at, I believe it was mid-June.
Mid-June, yeah.
I don't remember the exact date, but from there we let them veg in those plants for about when did we transplant? About mid-July.
Yep.
That we transplanted from the 5-gallon cloth pots or hard pots into 20-gallon cloth.
Right.
At that point, we top dressed with our bloom food for the season, slow releasing bloom fertilizer over the top. About 2 cups apiece.
Right. And but the plants came home to me in the 5-gallon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they were there for a month.
Yeah.
Hand watered.
Yes.
And I did treatments weekly.
Yeah, foliar spray treatments weekly.
I think I was up to 7 when we finished. So that was 7 weeks of foliars once a week.
Yes.
It was on Mondays. That was my. Okay, so we looked at 10 mils. We had control plants. We had 10 mils of BioSupercell, 10 mils per gallon BioSupercell, 60 mils per gallon BioSupercell. And then we did, what was the other product we used?
We added liquefied seaweed with the BioSupercell.
Right. And those were weekly treatments. My watering system wasn't up to snuff. I didn't have rainwater. I didn't have. All I had was town water.
Yeah, but even with just the town water, you had a KDF filter to strip the fluoride and chlorine out of the water, and that's about as good as you can get unless you want to go deep down the rabbit hole for a simple garden like that. That's cost versus expense. Right. So you got to decide that yourself. But as long as you even with that very, very simple low-tech watering system, it made the season far easier and increased your yield significantly. Just by having the consistent water all the time when it needs it. And never being thirsty, never drying out, especially when it had a good heavy fruit set. You dry out then at the wrong time. That's as big as they're going to get, and they probably won't get much bigger.
Right. And it got tricky, so I hand watered until transplant. And when we went to the big grow bags, I put in an automatic watering system.
Yep.
At that time, last year, you'll remember, we were looking at 100-degree days pretty consistently, and there's no way I could have kept that.
No, not physically impossible.
Yeah.
Even with 20-gallon containers, there's not enough time in the day. They would have dried out at least a couple of times, and they would have had a lot more problems with dying leaves, which translate outdoors in Oregon to mold.
Plus, my wife did not appreciate when I'd roll out early and say, "Oh, can you please water the plants?"
Yeah.
And it took some time. So the watering system was a big help, and we know the filtered water was a big part of that.
Yeah, you can use tap water to grow in organic soil. You just the chlorine and the fluoride is going to kill a good chunk of your quality and your quantity, because those are designed to kill microbes and fungus. And organic soil is all about microbes and fungus. That's 3/4 of your uptake. Without that, you don't have a very good yield or a very good quality.
Right. And we did do both at first planting into the 5 gallons. We did mycorrhizal fungi in our
yes.
BAM product.
It was inoculated with each transplant.
And then, we did it again.
That was very, very important with living soil that you do that. It takes a long time for that mycorrhizal to get established. So the more you do it, and the more often you can put it directly on the roots, the more you're going to see when you're container gardening. There's just not enough time for it to grow like it would naturally in a bed or naturally outside.
Right. And we did a pretty good rate. I mean, we dipped those guys in BAM, and I wish I'd taken some pictures when I dumped those bags, because you couldn't have stuffed another root into those bags.
No,
it was packed.
Yeah,
and it happened in 3 weeks, a month, because I think we harvested early October.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
When the rain came.
When the rain came.
Yes.
Right. So, did we figure costs? What were our costs?
You figure with the biggest expense was the medium itself. Because when you're buying a highly amended soil, it's got the fertilizer mixed in with the dirt. So you're looking at about anywhere from $24 to $28 a bag. And we used 20 gallons, so that's that times 8. Then you've got your we used about a 5-pound bag of premix. That's about $12 to $15. Then your little watering system and your filter. So altogether, it probably cost us about a little less than $400 when everything was said and done. For the overall yield and particularly quality that we got out of that session, I think you got more than your money's worth.
Yeah, and super easy once the watering system was set up. Really, it was.
Yeah, really. It went from like having to attend those plants at least twice a day to having to check on them every other day.
Right.
And that fitting it in your life when you've got kids and you've got a job. There's just not enough time in the day. Those automated systems are worth their weight in gold because of that.
Absolutely. And in the end, you thought the product was.
Absolutely. We had a fantastic season. We had the opposite of what we normally have. Normally we get a lot of wet and it comes early and it doesn't go away. We were pretty dry, and you were lucky enough to have a little patio to where when that rain came nice and thick at the end, you could pull those under there so they're not getting wet. They're not getting light, but they're not getting wet. And that's a whole lot better than them getting wet. And there was some mold loss. In Oregon, we got a saying, you can harvest early with a little mold or harvest late with a lot. We harvested early with a little, but even though we harvested early, our quality was still very good. And if we would have went further, our loss would have not justified the gain.
Right.
And frankly, in October, when that light's gone and the rain comes, it's comparing it to like an indoor garden, it's like starting with 1,000 water and finishing with a fluorescent. Nothing good's going to finish. It's going to take twice as long. It's not going to be as good.
Right.
You're better off cutting it off when it's everything's going as good as it can.
Right. Cut your losses.
Exactly.
Well, Josh, thank you for walking me through all that.
No problem.
I look forward to doing it again.
Oh yeah.
We'll try some other products this year.
Absolutely.
BioAg products. And
we'll try to get some more pictures this year.
Yeah. Step by step.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, Josh.
No problem. Thank you, Bill.